Coming to a stadium near yours. It is scary for the league, but it's not us as people. Now, we've been linked with Gyökeres for a while. It was a long, dragged-out transfer saga, but big bad Berta confirmed it. And I mean, we saw the news. It still feels surreal. Went to sleep, woke up today, and it still feels surreal. But it's reality. We got a striker, people. We got a striker. We need a lot, but we got a striker. Now we need to move on to Eze. You would have seen yesterday, Reiss Nelson is being linked with Fulham. Clearly, we need to get some outgoings. I do believe that is the case, and we've shared that thought on this platform for a while. Apologies, but yeah, man, I'm even, you know what? Let's slow down a bit. I'm all getting excited and speaking about that, and I'm forgetting I have manners. You know, again, my mother raised me with manners, so yeah. People, deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Do not forget, 12 p.m. people will begin our watch along, obviously, for Arsenal versus Newcastle, where apparently at the same time, just before the game, Gyökeres will be, I guess, paraded at the stadium in front of the fans. Probably met his teammates already, but meet his teammates and all that kind of jazz. Feel sorry for Gyökeres because, you know, you've flown to London. You've had to do the medical stuff and the media day and everything else. So you're probably physically drained. Now you've gone over to Asia, you know, what, 9, 10, 11-hour flight. There's probably an element of jet lag. He's probably running on fumes and running on adrenaline and all those things. But it's nice to see us through the door. We need to focus on some outgoings. The quicker we move on, Reiss Nelson, Zinchenko, again, in the last 48 hours, Gabriel Jesus and all the others, we might be able to not just sign Eze, but something else. I think you'd be a bit naive, Arsenal fans, for thinking that it's an easy thing to get Eze. But even if we do get Eze, I don't think we get another attacker. And to be fair to David Ornstein, he did say we want 3 attackers. Now, that would obviously, in an ideal world right now, be Eze, Gyokeres, and Madueke. And where you look at Eze and Gyokeres, obviously, we all know the upside. We only care about having good footballers, but we know our club likes to operate and justify signing players beyond just, obviously, like, how good they are at football, as dumb as that sounds. They're both 27. There isn't no resale value and all that kind of jazz. Not that we care, but these are things that clubs take into consideration, much like the Madueke fee. People say, yeah, morning, my guy, DG. Morning, I'm a real gunner. I was disappointed in the Gyökeres video. I hear that. I was upset. I was disappointed as well because big up Arsenal, but we normally are quite good at that kind of stuff. I don't know why we keep doing this weird spoken word, cringy stuff. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just it's just weird, isn't it? But to be fair though, do we really care about the video? Because we've known we've needed a striker, we've chased a striker, we've got a striker. All we want to do is see him do this at the Emirates or in the first game of the season against Old Trafford. And throughout the 5 years, he's going to be at the football club. And to be fair, there is a quick turnaround. I know Arsenal have the resources and that extends to probably the media department, but it is a quick turnaround. We did, you know, if we want them to do a madness and do it very quickly, it's going to take a lot of time. And to be fair, half the media team, well, apart from those that pieced the video together, half the media team are probably over in Singapore, man. Don't worry, man. You'll see Frimmy doing, what's that thing he does when we're at London Coley, where he's on like the buggy, and he's got one of the players. But yeah, I'm just happy Gyökeres is through the door, man. I don't really care about the announcement video. I don't really care about the number he's wearing. Not that he's not deserving of the number 14. Just put the ball in the back in there. Everything else takes care of itself. DG, you never know. Gabriel Jesus could be loaned out so he could go for someone else. His wages are so massive. He's being linked with a loan move. In fact, there's been a lot of rumors with Gabriel Jesus. It feels like over 2 months ago, there was rumors of him getting a new deal. Then there was rumors that the club are disappointed we can't move him on because the man isn't fit, obviously. Then you're hearing rumors that, you know, he could go on loan back to his native country in Brazil, and also termination contracts. Now, for us, obviously, You know what? Yeah, the first thing I would say is, obviously, we know the players we brought in, we want to bring in, the areas we'd love Arsenal to identify if we haven't addressed them already. We all know the players that want to go. But then, and we know Gabriel Jesus isn't fit. Like, unfortunately, the man can't stay fit. But on top of what he could offer to the team with the goal scoring burden lifted with a Gyökeres, surely we could utilize him potentially for at least another season. I know he gets injured and all those kind of things. And again, we need quality, we need depth. It kind of, well, we needed to do that in the summer. It's a bit weird. It kind of interlaps, and it's like it's two separate things that need to be addressed, but it needs to interlink. But then you deep it, like, are we really looking after the depth? Because it's essentially been a one in, one out thing. I don't know where you lot would be with that, but you're right, man. You loan out Gabriel Jesus, paying, I don't know, 60, 50, 40, 10% of his wages is a lot better than paying all of it. So yeah, it makes sense, really. And for him, like, to be in his homeland in Brazil, I'm sure he's closer to his family and things of that ilk. You're probably going to play a lot more than on paper at Arsenal. There's a World Cup to think about. Obviously, the club will be happy to shave his wages in it. We're trying to spin several plates in it. Like, you know, we want to renew. We've renewed Magalhaes. We hope Saliba and Saka commit. You're still paying Kai Havertz his wages. Obviously, Gyökeres is probably on something decent. There is an element of us having to kind of tighten the purse strings in that regards. And you look at it, I say this all the time, you know, when it really kicked off, like, we really, not when Arteta first came in and he kind of has to use what he's got. When we kind of got to a certain point, it feels like at the time, Mikel Arteta and Edu, they inherited a mess and they kind of cleared it up. You know, obviously the numerous contracts got ripped up, players got flushed out, things of that ilk. And then from that point, it feels like we're back in that kind of situation, but this is their mess sort of thing. And let's not get it twisted. There's several spinning plates for Berta. He needed to tie up loose ends of the groundwork that's already been set on a Zubimendi and any like kind of stuff we're doing there. Obviously brought in Madueke. There was all the whole, is Thomas Partey going to stay? Is he not? Had to pivot towards Norgard. Had to address all the areas. He's, you know, this Gyokeres pursuit has been a long one. We have to get people moved on, of course. And then you've also got new deals in which Magalhaes, Wanyeri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, we hope Saka and Saliba. So there's a lot to do, man. But yeah, you shift Gabriel Jesus' wages off. We're kind of good. Big up the catch up. Make sure you're subscribing to SB and Catch. Big up yourselves, people. But it's not ramping, to be fair. He's shown it. He's shown experience. I don't want to shit on Edu because he's not here, and big up Edu because, you know, only Spurs could activate a release clause, and somehow Morgan gives Whiteside a new deal. I wouldn't rule out him still leaving, but Edu, God knows where we'd be with you. You know, I don't know if you'd still be pursuing Cesco and where we'd be with Gyökeres. I definitely don't know where the new contracts up until this point have been done. I don't know what would be going on. Fortunately, we don't have to consider ourselves with that. Newcastle will not be top 6. You never know. I told man, let him cook. Yeah, man, in Berta we trust. Man, in Berta we trust. Shout out, Kizzy. Pick up yourself, Ash. Appreciate you. I see Gent in the building as well. Love to see you lot. Love for the love, S, man. To be fair, you kept saying we're going to get Gyökeres. If you're saying we're going to get Eze, I'm going to take your word for it. But I don't want to get my hopes up, man. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up because I love Eze. How can you not? Like, we waffle about Eze all the time. We've seen what he could do. Obviously, on top of all of that, you throw in the carrot. He's a former Haylender. You throw on top of that Gyökeres, Eze, Zubimendi. For me, they'll be the 3 I'm excited about because they're level raisers. Gyökeres undoubtedly is a level raiser. I don't think Zubimendi's been hyped enough, if I'm honest with you. I really don't. But yeah. And to be honest, when you look at our transfer business, and I mean, I'm a real gunner, kind of said it there. You look at the announcement video, you look how long it's taken to get Gyökeres and Zubimendi and the whole kind of hitch up with Mosquera. It does feel like we're addressing business and whatnot, but it's like we're not hyped enough about our signings and we're not hyping our signings enough. Dave, appreciate you. Sadiq, one love. So happy clubs decided to sign Gyökeres instead of Cesco. I think you mean club. Yeah, you do. At some point, I'm just happy we're able to pivot. I've always said, I like what Cesco could be. I like Gyökeres. I would have been happy with either one. I genuinely didn't have a preference. The only thing that would tip the balance for me is why I'm happy we got Gyökeres is because that's almost like the un-Arsenal deal to do. You can see it wouldn't be too dissimilar. Or I'm sure everybody probably expected us to kind of get Cesco. It kind of, you can see why he would lean to our club. So for me, I'm happy with Gyökeres because it tells me win now mode. He's on win now mode with all his mentality and all that. He's 5 years. He's got a 5-year deal. He's 27. It's right now. I need to do stuff right now. And it kind of, obviously Arteta's had a hand in it. And if he didn't say, no, I don't want the striker, you're not going to get him. But it forces him to change things a bit, innit? Like we're asking the manager to be a bit different, to evolve, and you have Gyökeres, which on paper isn't an Arsenal forward of what we've come to expect. I only care about goals, the way you speak, the way you handle yourself. I think I've seen enough with your general play, how you affect the games without scoring, and the goal scoring tally he's had in the last 2 years at Sport is undeniable. But he isn't that. Like he isn't that. He's not going to do that overly dropping into midfield stuff all the time and one. He's like a traditional striker. So forces the gaffer to change things, which we want. I don't buy this logic that, well, obviously, Marino and Kai Havertz, if assuming those are two other striking options, they'll get plenty of football. There'll be opportunities for that. In game, we might need that. But I don't subscribe to this logic of, like, I don't know, Gyökeres has started the first 5 games, so now we're going to start Kai Havertz. Like, unless there's injuries, loss of form, then weird games where we might need Arteta to do something for us tactically. I don't subscribe to rotation for rotation's sake, and I extend that to everyone. Like, I actually think a lot of fans do a lot of waffling about rotation and resting players, but you look at last season, and if we didn't learn anything last season, it's why you need a bigger squad, why you need to be a bit cute and clever in that regards as well. DG, if Newcastle get Cesco, I think he'll be another result. Undoubtedly, I think Cesco's going to have a good career. I think Gyökeres is going to score bare goals for us, and I hope we do things. And I think Cesco's going to go somewhere and do well as well. And who knows? We might spin back for him within that 5-year period. He averages 10 to 15 goals in the Bundesliga. Cesco will get 15 GA max. I can't lie, you don't play for Arsenal. So, no, I don't care what you do now, really. Is it just me, or is Gyökeres a bit of an awkward one? Seems a bit strange from the videos I've seen. I don't know, man. I can't verify that, because maybe he was nervous, maybe he was tired, maybe it just felt a bit surreal. We don't know him. Maybe if we went to the pub and, we had a pint with him, we'd know what he's like. I want that. I want you to be awkward. I want you to be awkward. When, when they're asking him questions and he's saying they asked him last minute winner or hat-trick, a man saying hat-trick. Watching the interview, Isak, he didn't smile once until he started talking about goals and everything. And we've spoken about on these live streams. It's the mentality, because it could be a great success. God forbid, it could be a great failure. You can do the pros to Gyökeres, the cons, the concerns. I do think a lot of people get onto him for the Portuguese league. All right, cool. You can diminish the Portuguese league if that's what you want to do. But then he's done it in the Championship. There has to be a correlation with you being able to do it in the Championship and then in the Premier League. I know they haven't always been necessarily hitmen in the Championship, but, Brentford have had a couple. Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, Embuemo. There's plenty of Jamie Vardy. You can do it. You've got the physicality and the mentality to cope with life in the Premier League. So I think you're with it. And even when we strip it all back and we talk about heat maps and passes and all of those kind of things, the mentality is the difference. Respectfully to certain strikers, you were scared of Kai Havertz. We know that already, and we're going to go over it, people. And I mean, we're going to have to get a bit of a move on, because we are pressed for time, only because at 12 p.m. we have to do the watch along. But Gyökeres just strikes me as you could have prime R9. Obviously, R9 is better than me, but I'm trying to take his spot. Cesco seems shook. And then even with the Cesco thing, as much as I like him, it's still one of those where you might be a good player today, but the big carrot is what you could be in a year or two. And that's great. You want resale value. You want players with potential. You want a bit more. If you could have, I don't know, a 21-year, like if Gyökeres was the same player he is now, and you've got a 27-year-old Gyökeres and you've got a 21-year-old Gyökeres, and they're exactly the same, of course you would want the younger model. There's more longevity there. But when you strip it back, we need to deliver. And he's 27, not 97. Like, that's a good 5 years. A good 5 years. And you'd imagine within that time, we're going to be looking at strikers, maybe not as a priority, but naturally in terms of future proofing. I might be being a bit spoiled now, though, folks, but I need Eze now. Like Gyökeres is as we've been talking, it's kind of sunk in now. I need Eze now. I need Eze. I don't care where Eze plays, man. I see the comment, oh, he's not a left winger. Bro, just slap him out there, man. Like, we're overcomplicating this football thing now. Like, we've overcomplicated it for the last 2 years, and it's got us to a point. Now I think it's time to reset. Just get good players. Good players can always play well. Arteta, keep doing what you're doing defensively. Actually, keep doing what you're doing in midfield. Actually, keep doing what you're doing in the final third. But can we start to put our own DNA and our own print? Like, it feels like we go into too many games, like thinking about the opposition, as dumb as it is. And I'm a hypocrite. I don't want Arteta to lose that. That's got us to this point. But like, come on, man. Goals shouldn't be an issue now. I'm sorry, but Gyökeres can score goals. You've got Saka. I don't know if you lot necessarily hold the Martinellis, the Maduekes, the Trossards. Have I missed anyone else out? The Marinos, the Kai Havertz. If they're all like supporting cast of the attack. I don't know if you hold them in high regards like that, but they're not bad players. None of these players are bad. I don't think creating chances, goals, I don't think it should be an issue. And in my 30 years, it's probably the first time I've kind of seen that at Arsenal. I don't mind selling Yildiz DG. What, are you a Juventus fan? I would like him, but didn't they just reject 60 odd million quid for him? I'd love to see Eze either on the left 10 or left wing. I don't care either way. Exactly, man. You know what I've liked about Berta in this window? As soon as you think you got one sign over the line, the next one is being mentioned straight away. None of this ramping on it from the jump. Exactly. I think the guy's just not a talker, but that's okay. I don't need him to do the politicking thing. He's like, bro, just put the ball in the back of the net, man. Put the ball in the back of the net. And there's just something in Gyokeres' eyes. Like, he just looks like he's built for this, if I'm honest with you. And you know, he's scoring a lot of goals. He's blonde, blue eyes. He was made in the lab, man. So let's benefit. It's scary for the rest of the league. Bruno is one of the best cams in Europe, and he came from the same league. Portuguese is good for highlighting talents. Exactly. And even that, Gyökeres has been in a number of, quite cool. It didn't work out for him at Brighton, you know, but he's been in his homeland. He's been at Brighton. He went on loan to Germany. He's been at Swansea. He's been in Portugal, and he's obviously come back to England. He's had highs and his lows in his career. Football mirrors life. You have highs and lows in your life, and it makes you who you are. The L's make you hungrier. He's got a point to prove. He's clearly adaptable in terms of life, let alone football. He's probably played in a bunch of different systems and whatnot. And I would say rival fans are shameless. I said this yesterday in my group chat. All the people that have been waffling about signing Gyökeres before him and Arsenal became a thing, when it looked like we was about to get Cesco over Gyökeres, oh my God, Gyökeres scores all these goals. How can you go for Cesco? Now they're flipping it. Oh my God, are you spending all that money for someone that scored a hat-trick against Man City, which were two of them were penalties, and he did play against an 18-year-old centre-back? You weren't saying that before. A man still scored a hat-trick. Penalties or not, I don't care if he scores penalties, screamers, instinctive finishes, off his ear, put the ball in the back of the net, they all count. It's one of those things about football. It's like when you look at our invincible thing, yeah, where we did not to lose a game in the Premier League. Oh, but you had 12 draws, so the fuck? Or when people do actually say United's treble was jammy, and there was an element of jamminess, but you make your own luck. Any team that's achieved stuff, they've made their own luck. But yeah, I'm going on a tangent, completely off topic. Remember when 10 years ago, prime years was 27, 29, football fans nowadays are weird. And it's all about how you handle yourself, and you're right, yeah. But then even if you are crying about Gyökeres' age, and I do think there's people that just need to get over Cesco. You know, I know you fancy him. It's cool. Go over there and support him. You can still look at him on Google if that's what you want to do. But then you can make an argument of, I still think that's the same, but you can make an argument that players' careers are extending. It feels like players' careers are shorter, especially if you come through at like 16 or whatever. But Vardy's still kicking ball, going strong. Fair enough, he's in Saudi, but Ronaldo, there's no signs of stopping. There's some more examples. You know, Giroud is still kicking ball as well. He's come back to Europe, and he's no spring chicken. So it's nonsense, man. It's nonsense, man. DJ, I wanted Cesco, but back Gyökeres, he's got the striker mentality, which we've missed for years. I'm a real gunner. That's it. That is it. That is the be-all and end-all. And some people just need to grasp that concept. Unbelievable still, the Cesco camp are trying to find negatives in the Gyökeres signing. The guy performed in the Champions League 2 and battered City, 6 goals in the comps. How many Cesco? He's a Viking. Exactly. No player is going to be 100% perfect. Like, let's be real. The dream was Isak, innit? Like, I don't want to mention Isak, he's going to Liverpool, but generally we're led to believe that is what the club wanted. For one reason or another, years ago, that weren't happening. And that was probably our dream as well. But how do we have signed Isak? What are people going to say? Oh my God, can't stay fit. There's always something around someone. Now, I think it went Isak. That was the guy. I think prior to Berta, in the last 2 years or 18 months, prior to obviously Berta walking in now, Cesco was the guy that these lot wanted. Gyökeres had to feature on some level of recruitment list. It's like Liverpool are about to sign Isak, and they've got Hugo Ekitike. They must have had, logically, if you're a scout and you're doing what you need to do, then, you know, he's going to be on the list. Liverpool have signed the striker. We're in the process of signing 2. We've signed the striker. Who else? Chelsea have signed Liam Delap. Everybody has to have looked at the same people type of thing. There's always nitpicking. And for me, Gyökeres will shoot down all the doubters, but I don't get it because they will nitpick and do all this ooming and ahhing and fine-tuning around Gyökeres. And I'm not saying I want this, but there's more concerns about a Madueke signing. Let's be real. But there's bare upside. It's like the potential and the journey. Like, at some point, we have to realize the presence. Gyökeres provides us with that. And if Gyökeres don't bang, a bit like Liverpool, they signed Darwin Núñez. It didn't bang. All right, cool. Move him on. Keep it moving. And now look. Just get on with it, man. And they're going to have to hold that. Like, they're going to have to hold that. Just accept it. The man's here now. Keep crying. Big up the chat. Big up Gooner codes. I think Gyökeres wants to prove himself before being all happy and smiling. He smiled a few times in the content released by Arsenal, but not as much as the other signings. To be fair, man, he's probably relieved. It's been long for him. Like, the man's had his, you know, the whole stuff about leaving his girlfriend. It's gone very sour with Sporting. What else? He's the removal thing, the removal company. And obviously, if you're moving house, that's long in itself. His agent, dad crying. There was probably moments they thought this was happening and then not happening. Flying from Spain, and he's probably been on some more flights, but flying from Spain to London. You'd imagine they need to show us what a medical is actually like, but you'd imagine it must be physically draining. Like, there must be blood tests and all those kind of things. Now you got to take pictures and do media. Then you got to fly out over there. You're going to be knackered. Maybe it ain't even just sunk in yet, really. But I'm sure he'll be happy. He seems like a good lad. Not that I care about what language you speak, but speaks perfect English. Naturally, that helps you adapt. Let's go and get it done, man. Go sit next to Saka and all the attackers and let's start cooking, man. Did you notice different game from MLS against Milan, overlapping more? Yeah, he did elements of playing like a bit more of a traditional fullback and crossing. I can't lie, I did see the Gabriel Heinz Miles Lewis Skelly training, teaching him to cross. I mean, he's 18. He's not the finished article, so keep going. He's not awkward. That's just what a player sounds like when all they care about is banging in goals. I hear it. You're right about the rotation, waffling, DG. No one else drops stars for games, yet we have to come on it with cost managers' jobs. Exactly. I'm not on rotating and dropping players for the sake of that, because you're going to want to still get 3 points. There is an element we need to be cute and clever, and there's a wider discussion. Clearly, the people that make the decisions where football's concerned, they don't care. Like, the people that organize these tournaments, they don't care. You know, preseason, I'm a big fan of, you know, if you live in Asia or America, or I don't know, I haven't really seen it as much, but like teams going off to Africa for preseason, like there's fans that are as passionate as us, but they obviously don't get to watch the team week in, week out. So I'm all about bringing the game to all of them sides and showing everyone what football teams are about. But we all know these preseason games or these preseason tours, they're not because of that. The clubs just see money. We're seeing Nations League expanded international tournaments, more fixtures in ever than ever. The Club World Cup, you know, so there ain't been much of a rest for certain players. The fixture list or the fixture calendar list for club and country is expanding. Like, minimally, conservatively, we probably hope to see Arsenal play 60 games this season. And players are probably going to play 60, 70 games, give or take, assuming you played every game for your club and country if you're one of them. So there's a wider discussion to be had about players need rest and fatigue, but that's not happening. You probably need a bigger squad, and you need to be a bit cute and clever. And we need to remove the romance, with the greatest of respect to Kai Havertz. Again, I'm not saying your time's done. You definitely got a role to play, but come on, man. Put a striker who's going to score goals. Again, the PSG game. I think the 2 legs in the Champions League, as romantic as our journey was, a near enough perfect campaign up until we got there. It highlighted 2 things. What did we see in the first leg? We ain't got the depth that we think we have. Partey comes out the team. You have to move Marino back into midfield, who is in a good moment. That kind of period is where Reiss kind of started to up his game and really go back up the levels. He moves back into the 6. You can see that we've moved jigsaw pieces around. The second leg, what happened? I don't think we did bad. But I did feel like, and I think I said it in my reaction, like towards the end of the game and when the game finished, my initial thought was we actually tried, but we're just not good enough. Like, fair enough, we're going to be nowhere near PSG, but the players are trying, but they're just not enough. And even that, the second leg, first 20 minutes, goals change games. We could have still went out, but we had at least 2-3 chances. What Odegaard, not that we've seen him shoot too often, but Odegaard drew a save from Donnarumma. I'm sure Reiss had a header. I can't remember everyone in it, but basically, first 10 minutes, we had 3 opportunities. Imagine 2 of those go in. The game's flipped on its head. Maybe the PSG home set, they get a bit nervous. We need to kind of kill the... Football's always romantic, but we kind of need to kill the romance. And if we want to get over the line, we just need competencies now. Like, we've got Gyökeres. We hope you're up there for the golden boot, but like, City got Haaland. Fair enough, it's not a striker. Well, they're about to get Isak and they got Eberechi Eze, but you know the certain numbers Salah's having. Saka's the only one you can bet on. In the last 3 years, put the ball in the back of the net, and we need more like that. Let's be honest. Where you break down, I keep saying this, but you look at our defensive unit, our midfield unit, and our attacking unit. End of the day, goals win games. We have a title-winning defense and an ethos around being able to defend. We don't kill games, because there are games where, let's have it right, everything's going to go wrong. The tactics, dodgy refereeing decision, we might just be shit, but we still need to try and get 3 points. And I don't feel our attackers are bad, like all of them. I don't feel none of them are bad, but there's more questions than answers. Gyökeres, we know you're going to answer one. Saka answers one. Would it surprise us or not surprise us if Marino and Kai did score goals, or also didn't, and the same goes for them on the left-hand side. Like, big up Madueke, we give him all a chance, and he'll probably be deputizing for Saka as well as getting a fair amount of opportunities off the left. But we don't know what we're going to get. It's all potential, and it's now time to realize it. We have to kill the romance, and to a degree, I do think Berta is doing that, because he is doing some things I didn't expect us to do. I didn't expect us to rip up Tomiyasu's contract. 100 likes target, people. You know what you need to do. Please smash the like button. We've got 59 likes. 12 p.m. we're watching Arsenal-Newcastle. Thoughts on Donnarumma? PSG struggling to renew his contract due to his demands. They agreed terms with the Lille goalkeeper to replace him. Best time to leave PSG per se, because obviously you just won the title. To be fair, the same way fans need to get over Cesco, the same needs to be said for fans working for Isak. Exactly, and that's even the next one I'm seeing Cesco fanboys do. It's like, oh my God, the club showed no ambition going for Isak. Like, get over it. Isak don't play for us. Cesco don't play for us. I like what Cesco could have been. Isak fits us like a glove. Gyokeres is what we've got. As you said there, let's focus on Eze, and you never know. Any other signings, don't shoot me, people. But I'm still on signing the left back. I don't think we will, because I don't know if we're going to be able to move on Zinchenko. Morning, Peckham, man. Appreciate the fact that you love the podcast, my boy. Gyökeres may be in attendance at the Arsenal game today. He probably would be, but let the guy sleep, man. Just let the guy sleep. We need to sign both Eze and Rodrigo. Eze 68 million and Rodrigo on loan with an obligation to buy. We need to get rid of all the dead weight. Let's get Eze through the door. Let's get the outgoings gone. If there's, something we can do clever with Rodrigo, great. But really, can you really see Madueke, Gyökeres, Eze, and Rodrigo? And you still got Saka, you still got Kai, who's going to get games under Mikel Arteta. At least on paper, you've still got Gabriel Jesus, even though it appears his days are numbered. Eze would bench Odegaard. Well, if Odegaard don't get his act together, 100%. But again, you look at it, yeah, but that's not us looking at it in terms of ability and whatnot. That's Arteta's guy. That's Arteta's captain. Now, obviously, during the Emirates era, we have dropped captains. I'm sure Mikel Arteta was one where he was the captain, but we didn't really see him a bit like Vermaelen, but I don't think he will. That's where I feel Kai's going to get games. Odegaard's going to play. Now, we all saw Odegaard struggling last season. Had Kai have been fit, I genuinely think Marino would have been up front and Havertz would have been in Odegaard's role, which I think people are discounting is also another option. It's not what I want to see. If you had Eze, then naturally. And that's what you want to see. I want people that are going to grab people's spots. I don't want friends. Of course, you don't need to be friends and togetherness and all of that, but I don't want nice guys. I want good men. Like, help old ladies across the street and go to war with each other and raise hell on the league. I'm not being funny, but Thierry Henry, Tony Adams, Sol Campbell, Dennis Bergkamp, even Ian Wright, all of these guys, they talk about how competitive training is, the clampers and whatnot. We all saw Sol Campbell and Jens Lehmann win a league title and they were on fighting each other. Like, we need to stop the kumbaya thing. Like, and I do think our players have mentality, but it needs to go up a level. Gyokeres means business. He's not at Arsenal for vacation. They usually down the medicals and photo shoots the day after on the website. Pardon? I'm not sure what you mean there. Gyokeres is going to prove himself to the world that he deserved to be at Arsenal. Gabriel Jesus' statement, goal scoring not his strongest attribute. Gyokeres, I always want to score. I love it. Exactly. And when Ramsdale's saying he finds it hard to concentrate and he's on getting relegated as long as he plays, and the way Raya speaks. But to be fair, Lewis Skelly don't really talk about his defending, but like the way Lewis Skelly speaks in relation to Zinchenko saying I can't concentrate, and obviously the point you made with Gabriel Jesus. Hey, big up Alex, man. Forget that clunky thing, man. Just as long as you score goals, who cares? Who gives a crap? I don't care if it's pretty. Just put the ball in the back of the net. How many times have we been on the receiving end of strikers that aren't necessarily glamorous to watch put us to the sword? The confidence to take the 14 at Arsenal after forcing his way out, taking a wage cut and waiving agent fees to say only Arsenal. I rate Gyokeres. And we live in a day and age where naturally a lot of these players do a lot of PRBS. At least we can say his holds weight, if I'm honest. Gyokeres plays better for Sweden than Isak and is less injury prone. Time will tell, but there's a chance he's better than Isak. I won't lie. For me, I still have Haaland and Isak ahead of you, but show and prove. Your top three striker. He ain't kicked the ball in the Prem. Will Gyokeres be training alone in London or is he flying to Asia? He's forwarding to Asia. Gyokeres looks like he's got a good 5 years in him. Exactly. And in that period, there's going to be an ex Cesco, Hugo Ekitike, Gyokeres, and someone else to waffle about. Gyokeres seems like a hard worker, so I think he'll play for long. I think we'll see a better version of Martinelli this year with a proper 9 drawing players away. I hope so, but I'm kind of past that specific. It does hold weight, but for Odegaard and Martinelli, all that, you need other players to unlock you. You're good enough. You're old enough. Just fix up, man. Please just fix up. DG, is Arteta seriously going to take penalties away from Saka? I can't see it. Just let Saka have it until he, God forbid, but until he misses. And then let it be Gyökeres. They're all talking about pens and headers. The internet's crazy. It's just shifting goalposts. Like the way they talk about penalties, like what is a man not to score it? It's hard enough taking a penalty in Sunday League, let alone five-a-side, let alone in front of thousands of people in a stadium and millions of watching all over the world, really. And then if you, God forbid, but if you do miss, you just have to keep going. They're moving goalposts. And to be fair, Gyökeres, if you can work on headers, but there's plenty of players that can score headers at this football team. DG, most of these guys have never watched him. If they have, it was the 2 games against Arsenal and City, and they've made their assumptions. And there's copium. You've got to remain impartial. A lot of these analytical dons, they let their bias show in their work. Like, you don't get twisted. You can state your opinion, but you have a duty to, at least if you're going to make content, to show people the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't tell you what to think, just think. You can see it kind of transcribed. Because Gyökeres don't fit the aesthetics. Like, he don't fit the aesthetics of the Gen Z tacticals. And it's just nice to see them cry. Thoughts on Arteta? Apparently wanted to keep Trossard and Zinny for this season. I get Trossard, but Zinny should go, in my opinion. Great time in the first season with us. I hear it, to be fair, because we all know Zinchenko's issues. But if we don't bring in a left back, you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly and Calafiori, and God forbid, anything happens to Miles Lewis-Skelly, Calafiori, we can't really bet on his fitness. Suddenly, you're looking at Timber going over there. Maybe if they just accept the L with Zinny, stays for a year, can't get a left back, keep it moving. It would have been nice to have got Havertz, though, man. We still need to fix the left wing position. Wish we had signed Lookman or Leao instead of Madueke and then add Eze. I hear that. You know what? I'm at the point, just bring Leao, spend the money. DG, even Alvin Nilsson came from Porto and bagged goals in the Prem, nowhere near Gyokeres' record in Portugal. He's going to prove them wrong, man. Big up, CJ. DG, I think Gyokeres and Madueke signings have taken the pressure of Zubimendi. Yes and no. I think there'll be clearly more talking points, more positively around Gyokeres and Madueke. We're at where we're at, innit? There'll be a lot of positives. There'll be a lot of negatives. So you are right. But then again, maybe, I don't know how they feel internally, but externally, everything around our football club is going to be about trophies. When we play well, we're going to win the league. When we lose, it's long for us. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the manager, on everybody at the football club and all the existing players, let alone the ones coming in, because we're impatient already. Football fans are impatient on the best of days. Arsenal fans are impatient on the best of days, and we want to see Gyokeres deliver. You want to see why Madueke was signed then. To be fair, I've been gassing up Zubimendi. People want to see these lot deliver. Anyone know what happened with Tregonozzi joining? Seemed a done deal. Why did it fall through? Not sure why it fell through, but I do remember the Athletic saying we're not going for him anymore, which he's an executive, not a player, Arsenal fans. Let's not forget Saliba and Saka renewals are as important as new signings, 1,000,000%. Anyone that was on loan last season should leave 100% and more. Yeah. Imagine you've been working a month to get to Arsenal, then it's done and cameras are in your face asking questions left and right. I'd be a little weirded out too. And to be fair to Gyökeres now, like, it's probably surreal, man. Like, I'm with the greatest of respect to Sporting Lisbon, massive club. Brighton are doing their thing, but I'm not being funny. It's Arsenal. It's probably a lot to take in. Like, it's not setting for any of these guys, even the ones that have played against us at our stadium. It's not setting. Like, could you imagine? It's not too far-fetched to think, like, you're going into the training ground, you're seeing all the clamour on the walls, the history. They probably did what they did with all the other signings where you're watching documentaries and that. It's a lot to take in, and it's like I'm a here moment. And let's be real, from his point of view as well, like, he's had to prove doubters wrong. Brighton buy players from all over the world, and you weren't a success story for Brighton. Now you got the whole Portuguese league. Maybe even when you signed for Sporting, people saying, "We'll be going in the second division from Coventry, and what do we think we're doing here?" So he's had a lot of highs and lows in his career, and he's got here now. Like, everything he's been working to is to get here, to be in a team that's competing in the champs, trying to win the Premier League. Big players, obviously, the fact that he's Swedish, you think of Sweden, you think of Arsenal, you think of Freddie Ljungberg, who, when we do the proper announcement video, you need to be in it as well as Magalhaes. So it's probably a lot to take in, man. It's probably surreal. Like, it probably is. Number 14, man. Gyökeres is a man of few words. I like that, cold-hearted killer. Let your feet do the talking, man. Hell of a day yesterday. Arsenal announcing Gyökeres and Spurs fluffing Morgan Gibbs-White, and also It's like someone just giving rib shots to Newcastle. There, you know, the Isak stuff is one thing. Seems like every, you know, Visa and all these guys are turfing them. It just seems like one after the other. And big up Newcastle, but your social media fans do a bit too much. So I'm enjoying that. Anyone doubting him is crazy. Look at what Vardy done coming from the lowest leagues in the country. Let's just hope he looks stupid. They look stupid, innit? Family tell me you went to sleep. I did. Big up to everyone that was here at what was it, like 3 a.m? We were streaming. The ops are rattled, DG. These goalposts are proof that Arsenal signing him as them shook. Exactly, they're copium. It's copium. They're trying to say certain things so that it makes them feel better. And at the end of the day, Arsenal fans, I know it's frustrating, but air it. Because when Gyokeres does that and he does what needs to be done, that's all we need to do, man. If you're not connected to the football club, who cares what you have to say? I know it's not easy, but you get the point. Is Madueke signing competition for Saka? Indirectly, yes. But I think it's one of Arteta's projects. I genuinely think he's going to try something on the left-hand side. And if it works, great. If it don't, Arteta, 50 million. What's going on? DG, there was a manager called Brian Clough. He took the pressure off players. Arteta needs to do the same. I think Arteta has shown he's done that. He said, hit me, not the players. I do think people will criticize the players, but people give Arteta a lot of energy. And to be fair, can you really keep the pressure off players nowadays? You can't, essentially. Social media, you know, it's like 24/7 access. You've got DMs. Not that, you know what, if I was a footballer, I'd turn my DMs off if I'm really honest, because there's no point looking at it, but you get the point. But yeah, I think it's naive if we expect Madueke to be. I don't think Madueke was brought in off the premise of your backup for Saka / competition. I think that's an added bonus because your strongest position is probably on the right-hand side. I think there's an element to play him on the left. I do think if we sign Eze and Gyokeres, you know, obviously he's got a couple more years left in him. And I do think Arteta wanted it. But it has to work, man. It has to work. But you have to get me Eze, because if there's any discrepancy between the asking price of what Crystal Palace want and what Arsenal want, naturally people are going to say, what, you committed 50 to Madueke. If you didn't, what could have been then? 9:30 p.m. kickoff here in Australia. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day anyways, man. Does anyone really care about this preseason game? I wonder if there's going to be penalties as well for no reason. Havertz is better at the technical side. Don't be silly. Hey, what's Kai Havertz better at? What's he better at? Because I'm not dissing Kai. I do think you're better. I do think you understand Mikel Arteta's system correctly. I do think you're intelligent off the ball. You're nothing to write home about on it. But what are you better at? What are you better at? Because you're going to drop next to the centre halves? Well, your general play is not better than Gyokeres. It might be a bit more prettier. It's not better. It's not better. What can you do better? And we don't have to get at Kai, but we need to accept it. Like, we know Kai is a good player, but he became a key part of this team by default. Not really by default, because Mikel Arteta bought him, tried to run him in midfield. We know about the price and the wages. He played him up front. I do find it a bit weird that Kai's going to be part of the squad, but you're not Declan Rice. You're not Bukayo Saka. You're not, well, for me, Zubimendi now, but you're not Declan Rice. You're not Gabriel Magalhaes. You're not Saliba. You're not Raya. You're not a staple of the side. If your form is out this well, great. You're not. You're really not. So where is this forcing Kai into the team? You're not. There's no Mikel Arteta has to run 4-4-2. Of course, there might be games we can experiment with that. Times you have to do. You can't. There's no need to force Kai into the side. What we do? What we did? What technical side is Kai Havertz better at as a striker? DG, did you hear MLS said Noni is one of the best mates and he's buzzing at Arsenal? Got him. I think that left-hand side could be deadly. One thing I like about Madueke, as stupid as it is, you've got a left footer on that left-hand side. And one thing I'll give Madueke for all my concerns and praises, and he said it himself, you do like to take your man on. And I think your decision-making is frustrating, equally as frustrating, but it's a bit better than Martinelli's. Any Arsenal fan who rates Kai is either deluded or doesn't watch football. I mean, I watch football. I am deluded. I do rate Kai. I just don't think, like, you're not the guy like that. Like, there's a use for you. Like, you are going to get plenty of games. And to be fair with you, apart from Saka, you pulled your weight in terms of goal scoring the most. Kai is better in the air. I like Kai. I like Kai, but Myth, I guess Gyokeres is going to cook. They have to go all out and get Rodrigo and make Eze chill out. Havertz can come off the bench in that camera. Nah, DG, come on, he's not good enough. I wouldn't have bought Kai. I don't think he's someone to bet your hat on. But at the end of the day, we bought the guy, and I can only call it as I see it. Obviously, there's evident issues with Kai Havertz. There's evident shortcomings. It's a bit of a weird one because you're a centre mid, but are you really for us? You're a striker, but we got Gyokeres now. But we're at where we're at, and I'll be sitting here and lying to you lot if I would say Kai's as bad as people make out. He shouldn't have been bought, but he's definitely not terrible. And he's not a guy we should be betting our hats on. You know, again, excluding Bukayo Saka, Kai for the last 2 years has scored a lot of goals, which is testament to him, but damning on the club. He didn't do nothing against Milan, but I'm not going to get him for that because I've also seen, and one thing Kai will have my respect, when it was time to stand up to, you've always fronted up to the music. Not last season because he was injured, but the year before that, second half of the season, Kai was one of our more consistent players. Havertz can play in the League Cup, early stage of the FA Cup and come off the bench every now and again. Yeah, and occasional starts. That's your thing, Kai. Havertz, good player to have in the squad. And to be fair, Kai can help us see out Leeds. Glad he's with us, but I'm gassed that we've got a proper striker ahead of him now. And this is what I'm saying. You've articulated perfectly. Yeah, that's it. I'll be interested to see if Kai's going to be moved on. Not this year, but it's a bit of a culture shock because you're one of them that's gone from playing week in, week out to... I do think you're one where Arteta will bring you off. Arteta will make sure you get game time, but are you ready to accept that? Havertz better in the air and finishing plus his celebration is better. Nah, man, it's not better than Gyokeres. I do like Kai. And he's a shithouser as well. If we had one more signing, but it's not Eze, Rodrigo, Isak, who would you want Arsenal to get? Put me on the spot on this early Sunday. Good question. Oh. One of the Monaco youngsters, if I'm honest. I'm not dissing. DG, come on, Havertz got 12 goals. Big him up for that. I've sang his praises. So someone is saying I'm rating Kai. Now people are saying something else. Kai's not useless. I said, big up you for gifting channel memberships. Appreciate you, my boy. He's not useless, man. DG, I think Arteta may play Madueke through the middle at some point. Do you know what? I agree, you know. One thing I like about Madueke, who does like to get in the box, he finds himself in good positions. I know we're not happy with that because we see that with Martinelli, you need to score an assist, but you get the point. By the way, when Cesco was our first target, Newcastle fans, in brackets some, and rivals were laughing at us. Now Newcastle is firmly linked with Cesco. I see some rivals grouping us with the top 5 challengers and not the title race. Let them do what they need to do, man, because one day we're going to win something and we need to give the world hell. They say Arsenal fans are unbearable. Let's prove them right, but we need to win something first. Not fussed on the rival banter. I'm 100 that Glock 14, gonna bang. We'll be there. Let's keep it a buck. If Havertz and Marino can bang goals, you think Gyökeres won't, who is clearly a better striker? Because that doesn't fit certain people's narratives, man. It don't fit certain narratives. Kai has better ball control. Jesus has better got ball control than Haaland. Who's the better striker? I'll take your word for it, man. Either way, Gyökeres is here now. Kill the Havertz starter stuff. Ha, 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 ha. No, I'm being childish, man. Big up Kai. I feel like I'm one of the few Kai Havertz fans, but he frustrates me so much. Exactly. I never said he was useless. How is someone a better finisher with less goals? Tell him again. I'm still worried about the creativity of our midfield. Eze is a very important signing in that. And again, I think a lot of the midfield creativity is down to Arteta tactically, man. Havertz will regress back to having no confidence once he's benched. He will go back to his Chelsea level. Might as well sell him. I don't think he will, but if he does, wait, we ain't got time for that. Favorite chicken place? Mum's chicken. Kai's a good squad player. Anyone who doesn't rate Kai doesn't know football. Oh, sorry, I thought he was getting at me. Havertz backup striker better than most of the Prem backup strikers. People need to choose. He's got to run. I do want to ask you, look, though. Gyokeres is our first choice. Marino or Kai Havertz, who's your second choice striker? Because it's a weird one, yeah. They're both centre mids. I actually prefer Kai Havertz in midfield than Marino because I just think it's not pretty, but you can do stuff with Kai. Up front, I know the sample size is poor, but I prefer Marino. Maybe it's an aesthetics thing. Kai runs his socks off. You're not wrong. But whenever we talk about ballers, and one of the first things we say is he puts in a shift, he works hard. That's a bit of an inkling as to where we are. And I don't disagree, but being devil's advocate, you should work hard. No, you should run around. You're a footballer. You literally have to. Credit where due. Some games he was the most. Yeah, exactly. That's why I think there's a role. Kai's a scumbag in a good way. He can help us see out games. There's a role for Kai. But we definitely needed to upgrade. If we believed in Kai respectfully that much through the middle, then there's How do I make it make sense? Like if they believed in Kai through the middle that much, we're not signing the striker. We're not signing the striker. There was no matter what, whether we brought in a 10, a left wing, or all the other business, everyone agreed we needed a forward. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to Kai. But you might even see a better Kai Havertz because the burden's not on you. And to be fair, he ran Kai into the ground. What was it? Wolves away before he actually was out. Didn't he? We all saw him not collapse, but collapse. So yeah, man. He's scumbag in a good way. I'm on Kai. Like, one thing I'll give Mikel Arteta credit for. I remember he said Kai Havertz is a player that like will go to war for you. And I didn't get that. And then in the time that followed, I could see what he exactly meant. I hope we see Downman as well. What's this garbage about Kai's confidence going down if bench? That's the problem we have. We cried for depth, strength in depth, and now does any player in City do it? I mean, if he's going to cry, then it's best he leaves. You play for Germany. You've been at Chelsea. You've been at Leverkusen. You're an experienced individual. You know what time it is. Gyokeres reminds me of an old school striker like a Wright, Shearer, etc. Hungry to score, never afraid to shoot. Hope he turns out the same as Wright. Facts. We had a player who joined Palace at 28 years of age, a late bloomer who grafted all the way. He went on to score 185 goals for us in 288 appearances. And we need that from Kai. There's a role for Kai, man, but I ain't trying to do the Kai Havertz stuff. Havertz, Marino got us goals, but he can't stretch play, chase loose balls. He just can't run. Bring Leao to the carpet. That front three will be deadly. I hear you. Marino's a better striker than Havertz. To be fair, I've seen Havertz do it more. I do think Marino's a better finisher. I do think he looks a bit more aesthetically pleasing, but I've seen Kai play up there a lot more, innit? I don't know if they both had the same amount of games up there. I don't know if I'd feel the same way, but I like the way Marino got to grips with that role, if I'm honest with you. I really like the way he adapted to playing in that kind of position. So yeah, man, I got time for him. Let me share my screen with you lot, though, people. Oh, why is it not screaming? Why is it not sharing? Nobody cared until I put the mask on. Salut. All right, salut done. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Anywho, I covered this yesterday. You lot all seen it. Gyokeres is signed for Arsenal. It should say the Arsenal, but look at my guy, Berta, man. Look at my guy, man. That's the first thing we've seen close to a smile since he got here. And I get it. We're finally seeing the fruits of the labor. You finally get a decent kit. Finally can probably get a homemade meal from your missus because like you've been up and down. It's probably been hella delivery nights. And I must admit, yeah, I know I'm nitpicking, but I've always said this about signings. This annoys me, not with anything to do with Gyokeres, but this clearly ain't the paper. The pen is not touching the paper. Like, I get why they do it. It's just a pet peeve when I see people sign for clubs. I don't know why. I'm being grumpy for no reason. How would you describe your goal scoring technique? Gyokeres has said very good, which Victor VG14, it could stand for very good. Hat-trick hero or last minute winner? Hat-trick hero. All about the goals, man. All about the goals. I can't wait to score goals in Arsenal colours, man. Like, if that doesn't warm your heart, what does? I always want to score, to be part of this club and to score in this kit and with this badge in front of all the supporters. I can't wait. It'll be an amazing feeling. I started here in England. It feels like a long time ago. I think I've improved a lot since then. Now I want to prove myself for real and perform together with the team. And do you know one thing that gets me with Gyokeres? I couldn't tell you the game, but I think they played in the Champions League and there's this reporter and the woman asks him like something along the lines of he said something about, does Europe know you now? And he's like, they don't. Like, it was like, whoa, like, do you know who I am now? I like this sort of stuff. It's a big honor to play for your country and then to score goals for them is amazing. When I played at Sporting, I scored a few goals in the Champions League and many more to come, my boy. So I feel that I can be on that level as well. Now, to come to a club on Arsenal's level, I think it's going to help me perform even better with all the amazing players in this team. I'm really excited to get going. And he said, I just felt that it was the right club for me. What I heard from Mikel and Andrea when I was working with them and just what I've seen in the past years, how they've been playing football. When I was playing against Arsenal last season, pardon me, I could really feel it was a very strong team and very difficult to play against. That made me choose Arsenal. And of course, all the history the club has and the massive fan base, it's been amazing to see all the support that they've already given me. Before I even arrived, that's what it's all about. It's going to be very nice to see them in the stadiums as well. And you know what? We're going to probably see a better Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba and Gyokeres because we've got one of the best strikers in the league playing against two of the best defenders and vice versa. You were very solid defensively. It was hard to create chances. You were very good on set pieces as well. Very effective, in front of goal. You scored 5 goals. I think that the team was very good, both going forward and defensively as well. It was a tough game. It's going to be fun. I think there's going to be some good training sessions, hopefully, and it's a great way to improve. And that's what I want to see, man. Like, I want my Arsenal back. Like, the Thierry Henrys, the Bergkamps, all them guys, they spoke on the battles in training. And you know, if you sweat, if you sweat in training, then the battle's got to be easy, no? Or the war's got to be easy. When the striker plans accelerated this summer, according to Miguel Delaney, Arsenal had one fixed line: don't go above 65 million. What? And this is why I like being here with you. Lot. What did we say? What did I say? I said just from you lot said no, you're bugging out. I said just from what we read, and when you read between the lines, it's like we had 65, maybe at a push 70 million to play with for a forward. So when certain people in Leipzig are acting, here we have it. One reason for this is because the Cronkies are insistent on financial sustainability and don't want to be close to PSR. This can frustrate Arteta. It can't frustrate you. You're on 50 mil a year. You signed a new deal. You believe regardless of that, you can achieve what you want to achieve. And we've been flirting with it, people. Inside, Viktor Gyökeres transfer to Arsenal. Tough negotiating. Berta's role and why Cesco interest cooled. When the white smoke emerged from Arsenal's transfer conclave, I don't know what that means, but it spelled out the name Viktor Gyökeres. Heading into the window, Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta saw the 9 position as the North London club's most critical piece of business. And you think this guy ain't starting? Don't know. Anyways, after months of speculation over Gyökeres, Benjamin Sesko, and Ollie Watkins and others, Arsenal's wait for a new striker is over and their team's key requirement has been addressed. The 27-year-old has joined from Sporting for a fixed fee of, let's just look at the pounds, 55 million quid, with a further 10 million euros possible in add-on signing a 5-year deal. Arsenal are confident they have landed a player ready and utterly determined to make an immediate impact. He's a striker for the here and now, someone who Arsenal believe can be a difference maker this season. What could this be? Our Van Persie to over them lot story. To tell the inside story of this deal, The Athletic has spoken to sources from clubs involved and linked to players who speak anonymously to protect relationship. Now, I don't doubt this year, but this could be waffle. Been a beautiful weekend. Been a beautiful weekend. A man said conclave means bonder. Calm down, man. It's the Lord's day. Like, it's 11:23. Calm down. You're gonna get some. Take a touch, lad. Take a touch, man. You're gonna get some, lad. Relax, lad. A year ago, few foresaw this outcome. Before Berta's appointment in March, boy, this is what we wanted. Gyökeres was not someone who featured prominently on Arsenal's recruitment list. Given his goal score, that doesn't mean he wasn't on it to some degree. Given his goal-scoring feats for Sporting, the now 26-cap Swede international was on their radar. When assessed by Berta's predecessor Edu and his recruitment staff, Gyökeres was profiled as a second-tier player. This is why you got left, Edu. This is why you're gone. You don't know what you're on about. Don't know what you're on about. One who could be complementary to Kai Havertz, but is not necessarily an upgrade over the German. So Edu's one of them Twitter use. Okay. His physical attributes and finishing prowess were not in doubt, but he did not look an obvious fit for Arsenal's game model under Arteta. And I understand that you need players that fit the DNA, but so in life, sometimes doing the same things breeds the same results. Sometimes doing something different or getting players that go against the script could make us unpredictable. The preferred target at the stage was Cesco, a deal Arsenal had explored in the summer of 2024. You know what they say in life? Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, people. And plan to return this year. In March, Edu's interim successor, Jason Ito, was planning a visit to Germany to try and make advantages in that direction. It appeared Arsenal was set for the summer of Cesco. Then at the end of the month, Berta was appointed and the dynamic changed. Ito's Germany chip was shelved. The Gyökeres name came firmly into contention. Come on, Berta, bully up all of this. Berta the bully, I'm here for this, man. Stop all this. Let's go back to what football's meant to be about now. Berta was a long-standing admirer of the player and felt he could be the forward Arsenal need to help them end their current 5-year wait for the silver. Trust me, are you not going to listen to Edu? He might have won as a player, but has he done it as a director? You see what I've done in Atletico Madrid. This is what we need. Personal preferences were set to one side as Arsenal, with the support of their owners, decided to explore the parameters of both deals. That way, their merits could be discussed and debated from an informed perspective. Over the previous 18 months, Cesco's camp had built a strong relationship with Edu and Ito as the groundwork was laid for a potential deal to take their man to the Emirates. When Berta arrived, it was a different relationship. Although Cesco's camp still believed the 22-year-old Slovenian was Arsenal's first choice, his reps did harbour some concerns that the turnover in personnel might jeopardise the transfer, people. Smash the likes, people. If a 50-year-old goal-scoring machine doesn't fit your system, change your system. Trust. Yeah, trust. Tailor it to the player as well. Sesco's handlers were wary of committing early too. They did not want to close down their options and took an aggressive negotiating position in talks with Arsenal, which did not go down well in North London. See, he's acting. Gyokeres' agent was singing from our hymn sheet. Real, recognize real. Yeah, you want to sign for us? Gyökeres said, I want to join us. I'm not going to act up. This guy's moving bougie. And this is from somebody like Cesco. He's moving bougie. What do you mean you're coming here with commitments and you got 13 goals in Bundesliga? Get out of here with that, man. Nevertheless, the constructive contact with Cesco's agent, Elvis Bazanovic, continued. Bazanovic was a guest of the club at Arsenal's final home game of the season against Newcastle. And the previous season he was about as well. Arsenal and Berta did explore the purchase of Cesco. Lengthy talks were held with the players' camp, and Leipzig were aware of their interest. The German club's preference was for a deal to be struck sooner rather than later. So this is a bit weird. Now you can see where Arsenal get frustration. Obviously, Arsenal wanted this sorted sooner rather than later, but we've just read Cesco's handlers, so his agents were wary about committing to any club too early. And then you've got Leipzig, which is the complete opposite. So you could see Arsenal just getting frustrated, like, you're not taking a piss. We've been trying to build this for at least 18 months, maybe even 2 years. I don't know, people. So it's getting long now. It's getting long. The Germans, they wanted it sooner rather than later after just finishing 7th in the Bundesliga. His age profile and potential appealed to Arsenal. They had undertaken significant background work on him, having tracked his progress for several years. Everyone's seen him in the youth league. The idea of recruiting a young player with upside and the prospect of increasing in value while at Arsenal was attractive to the club's owners. See, we don't want to spend because of the owners, quote unquote. We want to be close to the PSR because of the owners, quote unquote. Him being young with upside because of the owners. See? Limited progress was made. In terms of the fee, Leipzig demanded Cesco's salary expectations and associated commission. The cost was too high for what Arsenal considered a development project. Development project, which I like Cesco, but it's over the line now. Cesco's potential is clear, but Arsenal are in a phase that requires immediate impact. So that tells me, yeah, we like Cesco, but the money isn't money. And sources at the Germany end of the mooted deal suggest that if the numbers were too steep for Arsenal's liking, they were simply part of a standard negotiating process that there was flexibility and room for further conversation. Arsenal struggled to make significant headway in talks. Their chemistry with Bazanovic did not mesh easily. Later, as the balance shifted towards Gyökeres, concessions were made by Cesco's camp, but by then it was arguably too late. See? You tried to act up. You thought, oh my God, they'll never find it. They'll never find a lady better than me. Safe. See? Egg on face. Get out of here, man. Gyökeres, meanwhile, was beginning to hold significant appeal for the Arsenal hierarchy. So Berta starting to work his magic. Having turned 27 in June, he was experienced and a proven goal scorer. He already had played in the English League, having signed for Brighton and Hove Albion in 2018 as a 19-year-old, and subsequently had been loaned out to Swansea and Coventry, whom he later joined permanently. At the time when Arsenal was searching for the missing piece to turn them from contenders into winners, he looked like a player primed for immediate impact. Another factor was that Gyökeres believed he has an agreement with Sporting which would allow him to leave the club for, we all know with that, it didn't happen. Apparently Arteta still needed to be convinced. Throughout the process of Arsenal's hunt for a striker, and to be honest, this isn't anything. Remember, Jurgen Klopp wanted Julian Brandt. Michael Edwards said, let's sign Salah. At the time, I'm sure Klopp needed to be convinced. Pretty sure he's happy he is, and Liverpool fans the same, people. His admiration for Isak has been consistent, but once he had helped Newcastle qualify for next season's Champions League, Arsenal felt that signing would be beyond them. By the time Isak made it clear he wanted to leave Newcastle in late July, Arsenal had committed to alternative plans. Naturally, in January, Arteta had been fully behind Arsenal's pursuit of Watkins, but ultimately the club were not prepared to meet Aston Villa's 60 million asking price. At the start of the summer, Arteta appeared to have a slight preference for Cesco. Slight preference. That might mean I like cheesy beef patty a bit more than I like a chicken patty, but I'll fuck with both of them. I don't know, people. You're going to draw whatever conclusion you want from that. No, Cesco's going to bang wherever he is, but you're not playing for Arsenal no more. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care anymore. If you flop, you flop. If you succeed, you succeed. I think you're a good player with great potential. Newcastle know the strikers. You'll be good there. Who knows? Liverpool, someone else probably, let him develop there for a few years and then they'll buy him. Cesco's also got good mentality, if I'm honest, people. So yeah, we heard that. Obviously, Cesco's only just turned 22. What else, people? Ultimately, however, the Spaniard came to agreeing on targeting Gyökeres when weighing up the various criteria under consideration. Manager and the club were aligned that this was the best deal for Arsenal. It suited the club, of course, to have the names of both Sesko and Gyökeres so prominently in public discourse. It granted them leverage in talks. Arsenal understanding was that both players wanted to join them, and that ultimately they would land one of the two when the terms were right for the club. Imagine we got both. Now we wake up, which we at least got Gyökeres. As the weeks went by, however, a move for Cesco began to look less and less likely. Arsenal noted they appeared to be the only club actively pursuing him, while Gyökeres had other suitors, including Man United. I know if not getting your own former players is crazy. Those two weren't the only two players given consideration this summer. Watkins was discussed again, although Arsenal had the same reservations over age and fee. Atletico Madrid's Julian Alvarez was also discussed. That's dream chasing, as we know. But it was Gyökeres on whom they were beginning to train their sights. Aside from his obvious quality as a goal scorer, it was simpler, more straightforward structure of a deal and a cheap one too. So cheaper, straightforward. Gyökeres is making the noises we need him to make. It's just making more sense than the Cesco thing. 1 minute, Leipzig want it dealt with sooner rather than later. Cesco's camp is acting. Cesco's camp is seeing we're not bluffing. We're actually on moving away. Now you're making concessions. Safe. In mid-June, Berta flew to the Spanish island of Mallorca for in-person talks with Sporting. It was a significant moment for all Arsenal's interest in Cesco. There had never been a summit as this. I mean, didn't we hear he also flew to Portugal? I'm yet to see that mentioned. Yeah. Cesco won't bang anywhere. He didn't bang in Bundesliga. What makes you think he'll bang in the EPL? He'll be just like Edin Dzeko. Edin Dzeko was great. But at the same time, you say that now. Where was Gyökeres at 22? The moment he wanted minimum release clause, I was done with Cesco. Go to Newcastle, Real, Barca, I don't care. Patty is Patty, Nash is Nash. Take a touch, lad. Take a touch. Take a touch, lad. And it is a beautiful weekend. Gyökeres has the arrogance the squad has been missing. Facts. Why don't they scout for young gems in the foreign league? I'm sure there are wonder kids in France or South America. I'd love that to be the case. When they start doing that, please let me know, because that is something we need to start tapping into. The difficulty was that Sporting seemingly had no intention of honouring their alleged agreement with Gyökeres. They wanted a fixed fee of 70 million euros with a further 10 million euros in potential add-ons. Although still at a 20 million euros discount on the release clause, this was higher than what the players camp believed had been agreed. As June ticked into July, Arteta emphasized the urgency of the situation with preseason around the corner. He wanted a centre forward. Their challenging early in the Premier League fixture list gave the club further impetus to complete a deal as soon as possible. Agreeing personal terms with Gyökeres was relatively straightforward. Throughout the process, he showed a clear determination to move to Arsenal. They also found Hassan Sentikaya, his agent, straightforward and easy to deal with, which is direct contrast from Cesco's one, people. They were impressed that he and his client committed so thoroughly to Gyökeres joining Arsenal. It's unusual for a player of this caliber to refuse to entertain offers from other clubs, but the Swede was insistent it would be Arsenal and only Arsenal. Gyökeres' reps also handled much of the negotiating, with direct contact between the two clubs relatively limited. Throughout the process, Berta was ably supported by Arsenal's highly rated Director of Football Operations, James King, Arteta, and Arsenal's Chief Vice Chair, Tim Lewis. I mean, Cronky's bumchum, innit? Were also closely involved. And to be honest, they're going to be involved in all deals, as has been the case across the summer. There were direct talks at key moments, though. On the first weekend of July, Berta flew out for more face-to-face talks with Sporting. Negotiations were challenging. The Portuguese club were determined to maximize their return on the player they paid Coventry around 20 million euros for in 2023. Berta returned to the UK without a deal, but talks continued. Gyökeres had been given an extended summer break due to uncertainty over his future. He was expected to rejoin Sporting on the 11th of July, but instead communicated to the club's president he would not return. Gyökeres felt that they went back on their agreement, as we know. Eventually, a consensus was reached on the broad scope of a deal, a 63.5 million euros fixed fee with 10 million in add-ons. With those parameters established, Arsenal submitted their first formal bid. Agent Sentikaya also agreed to waive a 10% commission payment to facilitate the transfer. Even then, the deal was not done. Arsenal still had to negotiate the terms. Those add-ons with Sporting pushing for bonus payments they felt were more achievable. This dragged out the process more than a week. As the squad flew to Singapore to begin Arsenal's three-match Asia tour, Berta stayed behind to see the deal through. In the final stages of negotiating, Sporting fielded an inquiry from Man United. We heard even George Mendes try to get involved. but Gyokeres was not for turning. He was already fully committed to moving to the Emirates. The last part of the process dragged out as Sporting dug in. It was a frustrating process, one which left Berta, Gyokeres and others greatly exercised. But finally, on Friday, July the 25th, a full agreement was reached. People briefed on the figures say 5 million euros of the add-ons will trigger at a set number of appearances, while there are further payments tied to Gyokeres' goals, involvements and team qualifying for the Champions League. So Arsenal have their striker and Arteta has their striker. Arsenal have landed a centre forward with a remarkable resume. His last two seasons have yielded 97 goals and 28 assists in 102 appearances. Arsenal see Gyokeres as a dynamic, dominant attacker, an aggressive runner and direct ball carrier, which we need. They admire his movement and work rate both on and off the ball. Crucially, they also think he has the personality to handle the pressure and deliver match-winning moments. Gyokeres' confidence is underlined by his decision to take the number 14. Fuck if he looks like a natural fit. We got a Uta now, man, really. You would have seen Fulham are in advanced talks with Arsenal over a move to sign Reiss Nelson. Discussions between the clubs centre on either a deal with an option to buy, which would include a significant fee, or a permanent transfer. If it was to be a loan, Arsenal would prefer an obligation to purchase at the conclusion. Berta, I know you got us. There's no dry loan. You either buy him permanently or you do a kind of modern day IOU where it's a loan with an obligation. Anything else, pack your bags, you're going Palace, man. You can be used in the Eze deal. An agreement between the teams is close, but it's not guaranteed, and the work still needs to be done for the proposed switch to materialize. The Athletic reported on June 10th that Fulham were interested in another move for Nelson after the 25-year-old spent last season at Craven Cottage. So it'd be nice, people. It's unfortunate that he had a hamstring knock. Again, we've obviously got Madueke now. We've got Gyokeres, so who cares? Apparently, attention will turn towards Eze now. Arsenal are ready to launch an fresh offensive to land Eze after closing in on a deal for Viktor Gyökeres. Let's just skip through and read what actually is said with Eze. Eze has been heavily linked. Arsenal appear to be the team most keen to land him, but are yet to submit an official bid for the player, as they have been preoccupied with securing Gyokeres. But now the North London club are preparing a 60 million approach for Eze, possibly spread over 3 installments. So isn't his release clause 67, 68 million? There's still 7 or 8 million that needs to be accounted for. Bloody hell. UFC's a madness. Sorry, people, but oh Lord, that can't be. Is that someone's eye? Oh my God, that looks like it hurts. But yeah, off topic. This is less than the midfielder's 67 million release clause, but it's understood that the club's boardrooms maintain good relations and will negotiate in good faith. A breath of fresh air for Arsenal, who have only now wrapped up their 2-month pursuit of Gyokeres. Eze is understood to favour a move to the Emirates, with many close to the situation, confident a transfer will go through in the coming weeks. If Arsenal are unwilling to part with a hefty sum of cash, there's a possibility that Reiss Nelson could be included in the deal as a mateweight. Furthermore, Eze's signing does not hinge on this, so Nelson's irrelevant. Arsenal would prefer to sell one of their assets before splurging on the Palace star. So we want to sell before we can buy, people. Bring him. It's as simple as that. The contract renewal list Berta had when he walked in was obscene. When he wraps up Saka and Saliba, he needs to be commended properly for it. No matter how difficult agents can be, he has a creative solution to counteract it. Andrea Berta Hermes belt is real. Hey, big up hand of Arsenal, bro. Berta certified. Edu, you should have done the right thing and stepped away sooner, bro. My understanding, big up hand of Arsenal, is that there has been informal dialogue between Arsenal and Crystal Palace for the transfer of Eze very, very recently. The player is clear. Arsenal is my dream choice. His camp feel optimistic as things stand. Make sure your agent's on what Gyokeres' agent was on. Some sources have suggested the release clause is technical and requires it to be paid in a set time frame, 2 years. But these things are so confidential that one can't be entirely sure. Clubs prefer interested parties approach the selling club directly to discuss these things with honour and dignity to find an agreement, as opposed to unsettling a player. Eze loves Palace and will want it all handled properly, as has been. The Morgan Gibbs White is a case to be studied in this regard of what not to do. Them not down the road are scummy. They got Vinay as well. So we're seeing nonsense. There's a long way to go for this file to reveal itself properly. It's important to follow it step by step, but things seem positive as of today. There are some fantastic journalists reporting on it currently. Support them. Health permitting, I'll try my best to give updates when. Hand of Arsenal, on behalf of everyone, we hope your health is all right, and big up you for doing what you're doing. So yeah, people, we know we like Eze. We know we'd prefer to sell. We know Nelson could potentially be used in a deal. Fulham might have got wind of that and said, we want Nelson back. We're trying to get that done. We have covered this already, but Flamengo advancing on a deal for Gabriel Jesus on a 1-year loan with an option to buy. After the player gave the green light to a return to Brazil, it is proposed that Jesus' salary is divided equally, 50% by Arsenal, 50% by Flamengo. 50% is better than 100%. We've seen rumours that Berta is trying to move him on. Berta needs a couple, but we need to buy Berta Ace of Spades, Hennessy, Cognac, whatever he likes from Italy. Because, brother, you're not. We knew this, but you're not. There's no way you can be sleeping. Berta can't be one person, and also Berta's team, because you can't be naive. It's not just him running around everywhere. So yeah, Berta is exploring the sale of Gabriel Jesus this summer after clubs in Europe and Brazil inquired about his availability. Arsenal are no longer in the race for Rodrigo, with Real Madrid set to demand at least 85 million in the summer. Arsenal don't want to hear offers for William Saliba. Not even 100 million euros bid would change their stance. Arsenal are aware his contract ends in 2027. I mean, we're obviously going to be aware of the fact that we need to renew him, but you mean to tell me a footballer that plays for Arsenal Football Club, Arsenal are not aware of when his contract runs out? It sounds good. It's not making sense. What's this? We skip past something. In recent weeks, contact has taken place between William Saliba's camp and Real Madrid, but they were told he's content at Arsenal. Content don't mean happy, though, and does not want to move before the World Cup. Arsenal remain confident the defender will sign a deal. Bro, sign a deal, man. Sign that. People close to Eze are still confident he'll be an Arsenal player this summer. The players can't believe Arsenal want to focus on outgoings first before going for him. Don't worry, it's going to get done, my boy. It's going to get done, man. We're going to move heaven and earth for this. So, yeah, Gabriel Jesus has been subject to fresh speculation inside the Gyokeres. According to UOL, it is highly probable that he returns to Palmeiras this summer, which would be romantic. So he's been linked with Flamengo. Hard to beat now Palmeiras in a World Cup year. Go do your thing. Fair enough, man. 28 years of age is harsh, man, but it is what it is, people. Arsenal stars Leandro Trossard and Zinchenko are set to remain at the Emirates for the 2025-26 season following positive talks with Mikel Arteta. Despite interest and speculation around their future, sources close to the club have told us that Mikel Arteta wants both Trossard and Zinchenko to stay at the club this summer, with all parties aligned on continuing their journey in North London for at least one more year. Both their deals are set to run out. Trossard has been engaged in contract discussions with Arsenal since the turn of the year. The Belgian forward was initially offered an extension on his current terms, but without a pay increase, something that caused a temporary stall in negotiation. Talks have since resumed, and according to Football Transfers, a compromise is close to being finalised. The former Brighton man is said to be settled in London and motivated ahead of the new campaign, where he's expected to play a key role in Mikel Arteta's push for silverware across all comps. As for Zinchenko, the Ukrainian had asked the club for permission to explore potential moves away from the Emirates early this summer. That led Arsenal to begin scouring the market for left-back reinforcements, including making contact with Ajax over highly rated teenager Jarell Hato, who now looks set to sign for Chelsea. Ultimately, a series of conversations with Arteta, who has a long-standing relationship with Zinchenko from the days at City, proved decisive. The 27-year-old is now recommitted to Arsenal's project, and like Trossard, is fully focused on the season ahead, barring any change of heart from both players. Zinchenko's tactical versatility and Trossard's attacking flair will be vital assets. Squad players, the League Cup game is there for you, man. But yeah, they did Miles Lewis-Skelly dirty. I don't know why they're showing us your foot button, but yeah, he said Noni's my guy. Noni is my guy. We get on so well. We are so similar. I'm really happy he's joined us, because even when I joined up with the national team, he made me feel so welcome. And so vice versa, when he came here, I made him feel welcome as well. He's so direct, can play on the left or right wing. His qualities are going to help us out so much. I'm so excited to have him, because he's going to bring a lot to the team. And then he said, people, I love it. The people are so nice. It's so clean here. I mean, London is completely dirty, so it's amazing. And you know what? From a lifestyle point of view, you know, being a footballer, you get to see the world. Like, when is some black youth from London that's not a footballer going to be in Singapore? Like, football, and anyone, like middle class, whatever, you know what I'm getting at. It's nice to see life experiences and seeing different, like, I think this stuff enriches your mind, if I'm honest, people. So yeah, big up the Singaporeans and big up the Hong Kong ones, because we're going to see you lot soon. Has been great. It's so happy to, everyone's so happy to see each other. We're so grateful for their support, and we know nothing is possible without the support like this. So yeah, man. Now it's on to just get me Eze, man. Just get me Eze, man. Just get me Eze. Just get me Eze. True. Don't forget, people. 12 p.m. we start our watch along for Arsenal versus Newcastle. Jesus will do well with a less physical league like in Brazil. There's clampers about, though. I'm happy we got Gyokeres. I'm a Villa fan, but I'm from Sweden. Does anyone know exactly when they'll unveil him? Will it be right before kickoff? Not a clue, but you'd imagine so. Gyokeres arrived in Singapore. Here we go. Gyökeres is a straight-up gunman. He's focused. You can see it in his eyes, even when being interviewed. He's going to love playing against Liverpool. They leave themselves wide open. Great. More players going on a free next summer. I hear it, man. I hear it. But be happy, man. Be happy. For real, I'll give Berta his dues. That Gyökeres signing his work well done. So, yeah, man. Reward Berta with Hennessy and some... calm the hell down. Why have you... Hey, bro, STL is mad, you know. Run up the likes, people. Concentrate. Word to SB. Concentrate. This man saying a prayer, bear reading. Allow me, man. Gyökeres will be watching. From Lacazette to Gyökeres, remember when we had strikers who didn't want to score? I need Gyökeres to be a success, man. I need him to be a success. Havertz preoccupied that right wing spot too many times during the Milan game. Yeah, I don't want to see him out wide. He'll be presented to the fans at 12 noon. I hope Gyökeres scores bare volleys. I don't care how he scores. I want them to say he's a tapping merchant. I want them to say all the bullshit they do. I want Gyökeres to score so many goals they do that. Oh my God, what's the general play? That doesn't do anything from general play. Who cares? Who cares? But on a serious note, though, people, I'm conscious of time. The good news is that I will be back with you lot in a couple of moments, people. 12 p.m. we go again. Big up you lot in the chat. Big up you lot in the comments. I'll see you lot in just a sec. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Any talking points, carry them over. This video, I believe, will take you over to such in a bit, man. We'll see each other soon. Arteta, shout me, man. Shout me. I'm a one-goal wonder, but shout me. I'm pulling out to the left. This could be Gyökeres who passes me the ball. Lewis Kelly can't play every game. I don't know any people that score, but yeah.